Hi, Chloe. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. And you?
I'm doing wonderful. Do you mind introducing yourself?
Sure. So my name is Chloe Blake, and I am going to be a junior at the university this fall. And I'm studying mathematics, so that's my major. And then I am currently working on a minor in computer science. Oh, and I also have a minor in Spanish.
Minor in computer science and Spanish and
Yeah.
major, so definitely very busy. And you just got back from studying abroad. Where did you visit?
Yeah, so I just came back from study abroad in Madrid in Spain.
And what were some of your favorite things that you did and visited while you were in Spain?
Well, there was a lot to visit there. I mean, Madrid's like a big city. Something that I enjoyed going to was Retiro Park. It's just a big park and it's kind of an escape from the main part of the city. And that was really cool. There's a lake there and this glass palace kind of looking thing. And that was really neat. And then I mean, that was kind of like a calm aspect of Madrid, but most of the city is pretty bustling. And I think that Gran Via, which is like the Times Square of Madrid, is super fun. There's lots of shops and lots of places to eat. Um, but yeah, it's like a great walking city. Lots of things to do.
So, what were your favorite foods that you tried while you were in Madrid?
Well, I think this is kind of funny. The first thing that stands out to me is actually not Spanish food. Um, so I think something that people don't realize when they get to anywhere in Europe is that there are a lot of African communities in Europe because of the immigration. And so Madrid was no exception to that. So there's like a neighborhood that's at this point it's been gentrified, but there's a neighborhood where there are just a lot of like African restaurants and like a lot of shops and there's a big immigrant population there. And so I tried Senegalese food there for the first time and I loved it so much. And my favorite dish was just like this chicken and rice and vegetable kind of thing. And I know like every cuisine has some version of that, but this was just particularly my favorite. But if I had to say Spanish food, definitely anything with cod, codfish. That was super good. They have really good fried cod. They have cod croquetas, which are like fried balls of fish. Anything cod was tasty to me.
It sounds delicious. You're definitely making me hungry.
And it's what, 9 a.m.?
It is. How are the classes there different in the instruction from attending classes here at the U of A?
Yeah. So in the program that I was in, the classes were quite small. The whole program was definitely not more than 50 or 60 of us. And so classes were pretty small. There were a handful of computer science classes offered, which was really nice. But they were much smaller than the typical, 150 students that most of us are used to. And I know they get smaller as you go up to your upper level classes, but this was definitely much smaller than you would expect anywhere. Um, for example, I was not in computer science classes with most of the other students just because I was not ready to take 400 level classes when I went. But the 400 level classes they were about like 7, 8 students, and that was like the biggest their class size ever got. But on my hand, I was actually the only student in my computer science class, which was a super interesting experience. And not the normal, I would say, but definitely interesting. Um, it definitely felt very conversational in class. I could just ask questions whenever I felt like the teacher would be explaining something, and I could just be like, "Wait, can you explain that again?" Or "Wait, can you slow down?" It felt very personalized to me. And I think even if like one or two or three more people were at it, it would still feel quite personal. But I developed a good relationship with the professor, so that was really nice.
It's great. It almost sounds like it's like small group instruction. You
Yeah, it
where
definitely was. It
and you
definitely
build that
was.
community where you're not you can ask questions and it's open and really
Yeah.
understand the content.
And something else that's also kind of funny is that when there's so few people in the class, it seems like it feels like the grading is a lot more like lenient because there's not as many people to compare to, and like that was funny. You can kind of just like talk with them and be like, and deadlines are never like a hard deadline. Like,
A little more relaxed as you're
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
experiencing.
it's a way more relaxed learning setting.
Awesome. How do you feel the content prepared you to return to U of A?
I think it did a pretty good job. I think I would probably have to talk with someone about the class that I was getting credit for to know for sure if I missed anything or not. But from what I've heard, I told people what I learned. I did my, you know, it was basically like object-oriented programming, like the introductory stuff, and learn my stacks, queues, trees, and I think that aligns pretty well with CS 120 here, which is what I was getting credit for. So
Awesome.
yeah, I thought it was good.
So for a student who's contemplating going to study abroad, either in Madrid or somewhere
Mm.
else, what advice would you give them?
Well, I think the original thing that I mentioned to you was to just do it, which is kind of a very, very broad advice. And I think that was just my reaction because I know that a lot of people are hesitant for a lot of different reasons, but it's something that you will certainly not regret. And I really don't know anyone who comes away from study abroad regretting the choice to go and travel to study in another country, even though it seems scary. So it's like whatever your hesitations are, everyone have had those same hesitations before they go. And so it would be really sad to not have such a great experience just because of hesitations that like anyone might have. But I guess more specifically, because I know one thing that might concern a lot of people is the language barrier. Um, and I would say to definitely not let language deter you from studying abroad. And I know I said I have a Spanish minor, so I can speak Spanish, and I went to Spain. So it's like I like advising people to not worry about it when I spoke the language. But um, in all honesty, like when I went to Spain, I did not find myself having to use Spanish that much. And I know people who went to Spain without a lick of Spanish knowledge, and they were, they got along just fine. It's really not that hard to learn how to say hello, goodbye, and can I have the check, please? Like there's three things you will pick that up in no time. And it's like a lot of countries now anyway are very, very friendly to English speakers because English is just becoming such a ubiquitous language. So I would say do not let language deter you. You can, learn a few things to get by just fine. And oftentimes you'll be surrounded by people from the United States. And so you're certainly not going to just be isolated.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely we're in a unique situation for this interview because I got to go and visit you.
Yeah.
You experiencing Madrid, and it was just so neat seeing you and the other students exploring and just learning so much, not only about school and the computer science content, but the culture and community. And as you're
Yeah.
talking about the different foods you tried and all of those areas. So thank you so much for taking the time to share this with
Yeah. Of
everybody.
course. Of course.
All right. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye.